Good morning, everybody. Happy Tuesday. Thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedules and spring market to get on the call today. I'm going to give it a couple minutes here because I know we've got more people in the waiting room. So we're going to get them in. Um, just to kind of give you guys a update. May 9th, we're doing a new agent orientation Zoom call at 6 p.m. So if you have been a new agent from February moving forward with NRG, I'm going to be sending you out a calendar invite to join that Zoom call with us. And then I'll be putting it out onto the NRG Connect page for any agent who kind of just wants a refresher about NRG and where to put your compliance stuff, who you get help from, and all of that good jazz. So watch for that. Again, we're going to do May 9th. That's going to be a Zoom call. It's going to be at 6 p.m. But biggest thing always to remember is to be looking at that NRG Facebook Connect page because that has all of our updates. And then also, if you need any help as an agent, that as well is a place where you can post that and ask questions and get help on that lines. So today we're going to do our NRG huddle. We have brought on a amazing software tool that I have personally been using and cannot recommend how much time it has saved me writing contracts and also doing listing agreements and disclosures and all of that good stuff. So I am going to turn the floor over to Kirby and Pat from Click Contracts. We're going to let them walk through this and just show you guys what an amazing tool this is and something again that can save you just a ton of time as an agent. So Kirby and Pat, I'm going to let you have the floor.
Yeah, thanks, Jill. Appreciate it. Hey, everybody. I know that some of you have actually probably seen some of our Facebook marketing that's out there about Click. Click is just quick big picture on Click. Click is a software that I started working on in 2020 during the pandemic, and slowly but surely we built it as an internal software, but eventually decided that we needed, there's so much feedback we were getting from our agents about how much time it saved them that we figured it would be worth making this something that we would offer to the public and the other agents that are not the public, but mainly other agents that are wanting efficiency and speed in their contract writing process. And so that's what Click is. It's listing suite, buyer suite, e-signature suite. It helps you with your seller disclosures. Everything is within the app. No more sending out PDFs, trying to get them signed or filled out or whatever. Everything happens within the application. And we've worked out a reduction on the cost with NRG, Randy, and Jill, just to be able to save you guys a little bit of money. So if you sign up today, you'll get a savings on the sticker price that's published on our website. So I'm going to let Pat, who's our client success manager and also has been on my real estate team for almost 5 years, or a little over 5 years now, almost 6 years. And he's going to go ahead and talk about it. He's the client success manager at Click, and I'll let him take the stage and go from there, and then DM will have time for questions.
Thanks, Kirby. He did the hard work for me with the quick intro, so I want to jump in and kind of show you guys quick the video for it. Can you guys hear the audio?
We cannot.
All right.
I can do a voiceover for you, Pat, as you're going through.
All right. Well, I'm going to run. Yeah, I'll do it the hard with it. Same thing. So running through, and you can run through quickly on your phone, do everything. It'll pull in, and we've actually gotten more advanced since the original, so you'll pull in all the documents. I'm going to do a more detailed demo in a minute here. All right. Oops. Won't get past it, so we're going to. So Kirby talked about some of it, but the benefits of writing quick contracts at speed. You can have your contracts written in 5 to 10 minutes. Jill can probably attest once you get used to it. I think the fastest I've written a contract is probably about 3 minutes from start to finish. accuracy. It ensures that you have the correct forms, you're putting it in the right spot, checking all the right boxes. It's got the logic in there, so you don't have to know all of that. You don't have to remember it. All you have to do is check it over, make sure that it's the way you want it written. And then the clauses. We've got a whole bunch of lawyer-approved language ready to use for you. So the escalation clauses and inspection guarantees, number of different ones that I'll go over. The MLS integration, this is the bread and butter, is you can put in the address or the MLS number and it will pull in the data for you. It will also pull in previous listing data. So if you're doing MLS inputs or anything like that, you can pull in that data to have as your base, and then you can just change anything that you need to within it. And then it integrates document creation and signing into one easy step. So when you're doing your seller disclosures, you get to send it out. They get to complete everything in the app and then sign it all at the same time. You don't have to either scan in a paper copy or send them a fillable PDF. They send it back. Now you got to send it back again so they can get it signed. And then the best of all, you can use it from your phone. It's really simple to use. We get asked this question all the time: why click contracts over transaction desk or attempt to sign? Like I said, it's simple to use questionnaire, automatically selects the correct forms. You don't have to set up a multitude of templates to handle all the different situations or pulling in extra forms because you didn't have a template created for that one. No need to download or re-upload your supplements. They're already there. You get to pull them directly in. And it's simple for clients. Like I said earlier, they can complete the disclosure electronically and sign it. The regular signatures are easy for them to use on any other document as well. And then in addition, if you made a mistake, you're updating a contract or anything like that, you can easily clone that transaction and just update that. You don't have to start over on it. So,
and one more thing on that too, Pat, is the ability to be able to get offers submitted to listing agents or even have a pre-written email that is kind of written out with all the top line language. That's another massive time saving. So we'll go into what that looks like in a second. But I would say that from the time that you start an offer to the time that you have it in your client's inbox with the signature tags applied, if you get fast at it, I mean, 3 minutes is totally doable because you're able to work through the workflow of Click, and that includes adding the supplements. I mean, it's a very, very powerful tool, and Pat will go into it in more detail here.
Yeah, so when you get into the system, you've got your dashboard. It tells you who's working on what, and you're going to be able to see your stuff. So you've got it. I can tell which ones am I waiting for someone else to sign, which one do I need to do anything. So you've got a quick, easy to use view for it. But let's jump into creating a buyer offer. So we jump in, grab the buyer offer envelope here, and I went over it quick, but there's a bunch of other different ones that we can do. And then able to set who the document owner, this will be you when you're in it typically, and then who's going to be your signer. So I'll set myself as a signer. You can also have approvers. You can have carbon copies. So the approvers will have a chance to actually, like it says, approve it before it goes to everybody for signatures. The carbon copy, just get it at the end. Jump in. So here's the MLS integration. I'm going to grab an address. And pulls in here, and in a second, yep, that's the property I want. So now I pull in and it's got all the terms. You can sign your buyer agency docs directly in here if you haven't already signed them. So including it's got presets for it. So one of the nice things you can see on the left, when it goes green, it means we're done. We barely started the offer here and we're already about 85% completed with this offer before we did anything.
And the one thing that I want to jump in, Pat, is just making people aware of if they haven't seen it. So the difference between Click and Transaction Desk is you're filling in information using what are predetermined questions that every real estate contract will have. And so it's almost like a TurboTax. Imagine if you've ever used TurboTax or a form flow fill out process to get contracts pulled together. That's effectively what this is. And there's presets within the app that are predetermined by you or by your broker that are consistently the same. You can change those. But that's why the speed exists, is because there's certain things when you're writing contracts, you do them over and over and over. And those things that you do over and over and over, why not have those be preset with the ability to change them later? And then it just causes the speed to flow so much faster. And so what Pat's doing right now is kind of showing you how this kind of preset stuff works. And and how what's pulled in by the MLS and what's pulled in by you on a preset basis.
Yep. And so going back to the MLS, who am I working with? Here's my listing agent. I want to automatically email this offer to the listing agent. I can hit yes. Do I want to also send it to my loan officer? If I do, then I just have to have contact in there from my loan officer. And I can send it to additional people beyond that as well. Again, it's got all the details. It's pulling in the MLS broker offered commission. And then we can do modifications to our commissions if we need to, any of that. We'll also, moving on, oops, what did I miss? All right. The sale price. And we just go through, continue picking our dates. And fill in the form here. It pulls in the appliances. So this is where Kirby was saying, by default, it's going to pull in personal property for it. If I don't want to include that, I can change that to no and move on. Closing date. And then you can see, folks, all you really have to focus on, especially once you get used to it, is these boxes in orange here. That's highlighting what you need to complete.
One thing on the offer, I want to go back up to, Pat. If you scroll back up and the whole immediately after closing, click on buyer move-in. So, yep. So now you're filling in the early move-in agreement. Or if you click on seller renting from the buyer, now you're filling in the seller rent back agreement. And so Click has the logic pre-built. If you are closing, or you're taking possession right after closing, that's pretty standard. That's the preset. But if you have to pull in that early move-in agreement or the seller rent back agreement, Click is going to get that information in this workflow for you. And it's going to pull that document in, so you don't have to think about, oh man, I forgot the buyer rent back or the buyer move-in agreement, or I forgot the seller rent back agreement. That's why Click makes it so much more powerful than the typical process, because you forget nothing. If you answer these questions correctly, Click does the hard lifting for you, and it pulls in the correct documentation for you, and it gives you the questions to answer to make sure those agreements are filled out perfectly.
Yep, and that's the logic where we talked about not having have all the different templates or pull in individuals. So it's great. The other thing on the left here, you can see when it goes green, it means we're done. You can see I actually accidentally missed the section here, so I can click back on that, hit next required. There's the question I missed. And now I can jump back to my financing. So make a conventional offer, 20% down. And then how are you doing your financing? So appraisal gap language is already built in here for it. So if I want to do that, we're going to pay the full or appraisal gap up to, let's say, a $20,000 difference. Now I've got my appraisal gap written in there. Go to my inspection. It's got the logic. So if the city requires a TISH or a point of sale inspection, it's going to flag it for you. This would be yes on that particular one. This icon here tells you it's an MLS integration where it looked to see what city does it reside in. This is Maple Grove, so it doesn't require one. It defaulted it to no. I could override that if I needed to, if there's something had changed or whatever the case. My buyer inspection, I can make it that it's not contingent upon inspection. If I am, put in the days here, and then I'm going to go through the clause library on the next one, but we've got a couple of those. Disclosure statement. So this is where we were talking MLS integration. I've got disclosure alternatives. So actually I need to change that one to disclosure alternatives. Select confirm. And in a second here, my MLS
can you go back to that and just show them the eyeball and that they can view it right there and make sure that everything looks good?
Yep, you can also do that from right here. If I click on the name, it'll pull up the document, and then I'll show you in there as well so that I can view the entire document. We've also got a tool if you need to make any modifications to it, where maybe they uploaded the lead-based paint with the disclosures at the same time, and I need to take it away. So in this one, I'm just going to remove the radon disclosure down here. I can click on those two, hit save PDF, and then when I come back into the view of the document now, and I go to the end, that radon disclosure is now gone for this one. And like I said, you could use that on the lead-based paint. You'd upload this exact same file in both spots and then put the, just slice out the pages you don't need for each one. So you've got your pre-approval. You can add your dear seller, buyer as is addendum, and others. You can also put documents at the beginning and end. It does separate out that if you're doing your buyer agency docs, it's going to put those separate in separate PDFs. So the listing agent will only get the relevant purchase agreement documents. And then the clause library that we were talking about. So if I click on this clause library here, and let's say I pull up my escalation clause, it's got the language here for escalation clause. Maybe I want to put another one in there as well for my earnest money being non-refundable. And I can do use clause. When it comes in, I can put that it's going to be higher than $2,000, higher than the max offer to a maximum of 270,000. And now I've got my escalation clause. I could modify any of this language. I can add additional language with it. Once we're done, we can go ahead and, now that everything's green on the left here, we can go ahead and hit review. And this is part of where the beauty of it as well. Yeah, go ahead.
One thing, you did select send directly to the listing agent. I think you want to unselect that for this example.
I wasn't going to sign it
Okay.
complete to end on it. So I'm just going to show on this part, but no, I appreciate that part. And so when you get in here, I'm reviewing my document. Now I realize that I made a mistake. I can come back into terms here, and we're going to do the what Kirby was talking about. Now I'm going to take away the automatically send. I can change this. Now I can come right back into review and edit. So unlike Authentisign, you get in there, you realize you made that mistake. Now you got to go back into transaction desk, make your changes. You got to come back into Authentisign, delete the old version out, pull the correct new one in. This does all of that for you, that you already have it. If I do need to drop any additional signatures, I can pick which person's doing it and grab the signature line here, drop it. I've also got tools in here for if we need to add checkboxes, and you can do a multi-select checkbox. So that way they can select this one. And normally they'd be doing this on the sign side, not modifying it where I am right here. And they can toggle between that. And then we've got a strike through tool here where if you need to strike language out that was in the buyer wrote or something, I can put a strike through in, and then I can drop my initials here. And then, so like I said, you can review the whole document. It's there. When you're done, you can hit send and sign. And then from this,
go back to the review and just show the language and how it gets pulled in. So I think you can scroll through it all and just show the blue text, because the blue text is the important stuff. So that form is now filled out, but there's some really cool, just what happens as a result of that form being filled out in the presets. It literally puts this stuff right into the contract for you.
Yep. Yeah, so this is where it's saying, so it puts it in blue text to make it easy to see the terms and pulling through. It's doing all the logic for what type of financing and everything we did for the questions. The coming through, we'll have the language. So here, it can't fit the mortgage financing language that we put in there. So it puts says to look at the addendum, says what page to go to. And then it's going to have that same logic that it's pulling all the way through here as it created our forms, and it moves to, so here's our addendum with our escalation clause, our non-refundable, and this is the appraisal gap. So if you remember, we did on the form, we just said, yep, pay the difference up to a maximum of 20,000. Now it has, I would say, more legalese type language in here, so it looks a lot nicer and it's enforceable. But in the form, it's nice and easy to fill out and simple when you're looking at. So,
and this is something that if NRG has specific language that they approve, Jill, you guys can go ahead and put that in there and change those presets to what you guys want.
Yeah. So it pulls in our CIC again. It creates it for us, so we don't have to remember or have the special template for CIC versus non-CIC, or having to delete that form out of there.
And the other thing the integration does, just in kind of another aspect, you know, if it's new construction, it'll pull in the new construction purchase agreement. If it's land, it'll pull in the vacant land purchase agreement. So it does that heavy lifting for you right in the first, like when you do that MLS integration, it's gonna, you know, basically on that property detail section, right at the top, it's got it pre-selected from the MLS what specific purchase agreement type you needed, and it pulled it in based on that. So if you would have put land listing in there or new construction listing, it would have filled out those documents instead of the standard purchase agreement.
Yeah, and that's where the logic is. If it comes in and it has this, and maybe it should have been a new construction because it's really just a spec home and the agent entered it incorrectly or something like that, I can always override it and go, and then it's going to bring up additional questions here that I need to ask because of being new construction versus residential. But again, it's got all of that logic for it. You can see how I can jump around and get to things quickly with the different forms. And then, so in the send and sign, we can edit the signing order. Another nice feature is that we can do the set reminders. So when you have that client who is horrible at signing the document, but yet you have a deadline in a couple hours here that you need to get it in, I could say send them a reminder every hour for the next 5 hours here, and it'll take care of that so that way you don't have to be thinking about that constantly and doing that. So that's the quick running through. And then when you get done, should pull up this one first. Let me grab a quick. It's going to send you a template with the so it sends a template that you can send to the listing agent. So if you didn't email it directly, it's still going to send you this template, and you can just either copy and paste it or forward it in, and it's going to give you all the top line details for that offer. It puts it in a nice, easy, presentable way. This is where I was saying the difference between having a buyer broker agreement separated out from your offer itself, so that way you can send just the offer on. It also includes a link for a online storage, AWS storage for the document as well. So that way, if for some reason they can't open the PDF, they also have the ability to grab it here. So you've got both.
And one thing I will point out also that is pretty cool, go back to that template, Pat. So we didn't actually send it to Pat to sign, but the client experience is going to be branded to you and your team branding. So scroll down a little bit, Pat. So that's going to be your team, your picture, your name, obviously, your team name. It's going to have your logo at the top, and that's going to come to the client. And then when they sign, instead of having the ugly authentic sign thing, it's going to be your smiling face on the inside with your brand, thanking them for working with you. So it's just a much more elegant and personalized touch to the client experience. And then the one thing that Pat, if you would have selected in that offer, submit this directly to the listing agent on my behalf, it would have been an email that was written with that same, "Hi Jesse, please find my client's offer," and you would have been, Pat would have been copied. The mortgage officer, if you selected them to be copied, would have been copied, and if you wanted your transaction manager copied or somebody else copied on that, it would have all done that. Once the client signed that offer, it would have automatically gone in. So once we have all of our agents now, for the most part, when they're writing offers, they're just having it sent. As soon as the client signs it, it goes right to the listing agent. It saves an extra step of having to copy and paste and repackage the whole thing. Makes it so much more streamlined for getting that offer from the listing agent. And when you're in a multiple offer situation, which is common now, it's nice to be able to know that as soon as it's signed, it's in, right? And it's in, and it's written with really good language as far as the top line details go. So,
yeah, and just having it all packaged into one simple PDF, it makes it simple on the listing agent. And multiple offers, of course, here, the easier we can make it, the more they want to work with us.
Yeah, Mike, to answer your question, does this send for signatures through AuthentiSign or DocuSign? Actually, Click so we've built our own authentication signature. And so Click Contract is authenticating the signature, and it's all through a SSL authentication service. That's all built right into the app. So if you were to go and drag and drop those signatures, those are not AuthentiSign or DocuSign. That's our own e-signature application that we built as a part of Click Contracts. And that's even the one-off, like if Pat clicks on Create here, and if you want to click on Create, Pat, and go to the e-signature, just the e-signature suite. This is just like right there. We sell this for $10 a month, just as a standard offering to anybody that has a like non-real estate business. But that custom document at the top there, Pat, if you want to click on that, that's where you would just upload your e-signature file. So whatever you want to have them sign, and you can use that just like you would AuthentiSign or DocuSign as a authenticated signature for whatever document it is that your client or you are signing personally or whatever. So so to answer your question, it's not through AuthentiSign or DocuSign, it's its own official signature signing authentication service.
Yeah. So, and that's the
have you go back to that agent email for me, because I do want to share just something with the agent. So the templated email. Okay, so this email right now, you guys, I don't have this automatically going out to the listing agent because I don't trust it yet. I will get there, I promise you. But like anything else, we need to, you know, try it, experiment. So I will share this with you guys. So last week I wrote 5 offers. And one of my offers, I literally copy and pasted exactly what this was in here. And I attached then, you know, the purchase agreement to it. We won the offer because how organized this was. The listing agent literally said to me, you called me, you went over the offer, your email had all the information in there. It made it super simple for my seller to look at it. And we weren't even the highest, you guys. So I think little details like this do matter. And it is because of the fact that your relationship working with that other side, like how smooth is it going to go? How easy is it going to be? And I think that this is just a testament of again, how clean things look. Even going to the your buyers, the look of the email is very different than Transaction Desk, and I actually appreciate the look of the email way better than what's in Transaction Desk. So it looks so much more smooth, and it's easier for the clients to walk through and read than it is on Transaction Desk.
Yeah, and effectively, to follow up on that, Jill, what the client gets is it'll say, "Hi, Jill," attached is or below is the top line details for your offer, and then it'll give the top line details, and it'll have a little sign here, button, and it'll be branded to you. And we've had other agents that work with Click say that they get their offers signed faster because of Click than when they compared it to when it goes through Transaction Desk. And I think it has a lot to do with what Jill just shared, which is they know what they're signing, and it's a top line representation of what's in that offer. It makes it so much easier for them to digest it and just kind of go through it and be like, oh, that's what we talked about. Everything's good to go. And they just click through and they're signing and it's done. And so I think that Click does speed up your efficiency, one with your clients, but also like Jill shared with submissions to listing agents too. So.
Yeah. And the fact that when it's completed, it sends this basic email to the client as well. So you're also compliant with delivering all signed documents to your client. You don't have to take that extra step of making sure you're doing it. Mike, I'm going to go over that in just a minute here. The kind of client and structure, or the costs and the structure of everything for it. So the coming back in, you know, we're talking quick. I'm not going to go over the others, but just showing, you know, we've got most, if not all of your major forms are in here, including these standalone forms for a number of them, both the buyer and seller suite. So
one thing we should touch on really quick, Pat, is the seller disclosure feature. I think is, you know, you can sign your listing contract, but the seller disclosure, I talked about it briefly, but that being in app is such a benefit for people that list homes. Being able to get your seller disclosures signed by your sellers, and what happens is it's not part of the listing contract. So you get your listing contract signed right away, and then you follow up and you send out your seller disclosure documents. And you can also include. Can you go to the forms quick and just show, or is it in this one?
Which one are you looking?
Seller questionnaire and all that kind of stuff. Did you include it in here or not?
No, you're talking the.
Yeah, go to the, just create a new one. Just go to seller disclosures, and then yep, right there, just right below listing agreement. And so the seller disclosure, it's really cool because you in we've built into Click documents that make it easier for you as the listing agent to gather information from your seller. So we have a seller questionnaire, 28 questions that you can use as part of Click and put it as a supplement in the MLS. And it's giving the seller the ability to fill out all that kind of information that you're going to get from the buyer agents about the listing. And so what's really nice about that document is it gives you more control, gives you the ability to give your sellers more control over what they want to have put into the listing, but then it also gives you more control when those questions come in so like Pat just clicked on all those documents. We'll show you what those are in a second. But this is all pre-built into Click, and you can use them or not use them if you want to. But what is effectively happening right now is all of this is now in Click for the seller to fill out and go through. And you guys have seen these 100 times. We typically and historically had done it either old pen and paper or with a fillable PDF that when we got it back, which usually was wrong, we'd have to then upload it to AuthentiSign or DocuSign. It made the whole process a nightmare. That is no longer a nightmare. This is the seller's disclosure process. And then we have utility provider and mechanical information. So this is what I was talking about. This is where your seller now, if you include this, your seller gives you this information. This becomes a supplement of the MLS. It'll be a National Realty Guild logo, obviously not RE/MAX results, but this is a questionnaire. So what's your current mailing address? I mean, all the stuff about your legal name, is it a trust? You know, all the stuff that you really want to get clarity on. And you get this filled out after you've got the listing contract signed, but before you go on the MLS. And so there's going to be fewer surprises in your listing process because you're getting this listing questionnaire filled out with all the details that you would want to ask. It'd be nice to know if there's a divorce situation when somebody's selling their house and there's another is there a divorce decree that says you have the rights to the house and you don't have to get the other seller to sign 2 hours before closing. Not that that's ever happened to me in the past, but having that listing questionnaire available and filled out beforehand makes it super, super smooth. So that's some of the stuff that Click, we thought a lot about what we could do to benefit agents deeply. And this is one thing on the seller side that also benefits agents in a big way. Not to mention the fact that you're literally signing listing contracts at the kitchen table, right from your phone if you're filling them out at the house right there. So huge benefits that Click has to offer on the listing side too.
Yep. And then I kind of showed it quick while Kirby was talking, but when we were talking, the ability, if I did make a mistake or I need to change anything on it, if I made a mistake, I'm going to do clone to edit, and then it's going to, on the disclosures, it's going to reset in the seller. But if the seller, filled out something wrong and they need to change something, we can do clone to sign. It's going to give them the form back exactly how they had it, but it's now in an unlocked state so they can make the edits, because of course we have to lock it once they sign it to ensure that we've got the document integrity for the signature component when you talk about making sure that it legally hold up for the electronic signatures. So all right, let's jump back in. I know you guys are asking on the cost and that side. So we're doing a special for National Realty Guild. You as agents will get it for $19 a month for pro users. And what a pro user is anybody that's going to be actually signing the document. So typically it's only going to be your agents. If you have a transaction coordinator, any type of admins or anything else, those are considered delegate users, and they will get a free account with it. So they can set up, they can do everything with your account except actually sign the contract. So that's the only distinction between the pro user and the delegate user. And you can go to this website right here, clickcontracts.com/NRG. And then we show kind of the different structure on there. Really, it's the same account type. You're not going to do anything different, but single agent account, you're going to be the super admin in there, which means you can do everything, make all the adjustments to presets and everything else. We're additional training as well that we can go through where we do a deeper dive onto how to really adjust everything with it. But we've got, so going back, you're the super admin, and then we've got the transaction coordinators that are envelope owners, so they can see everything else. You can make whatever permission levels you want. And then if you're part of a team, you're going to have your team leader will create the team account, and then they will add everybody underneath as either standard or whatever level they want for permissions. But you've got your pro users that are underneath there, and then your transaction coordinators, and then if they have any other staff members as well, and they all go under the team account. So that's the only distinction. If you're part of a team within NRG, please have your team leader sign up if they're going to. We could have an individual account for if your team lead wasn't with it, but we want to put all those under, because by being under one account for the team lead, that's going to give the ability to see the other signings and help each other out easier within the team account. So
let me just piggyback on that quick, Pat. So $19 a month. That's our typical pricing is $29. And so with Jill and Randy, we chatted with them last week, and we said, hey, we want to make it a little bit more of a win for NRG. And to answer your question, Lucinda, cost per team. So it's $19 per month per user. And so if you have four team members, it'd be you plus the 4 would be $100 a month. But each licensee is the one that has is the paying user. On your transaction coordinators, your staff people, anybody that is a non-licensed person that you're going to have help out with whatever it might be within the app, those people are all $0 free. And so you can have TC added, and you're the single agent. Jill, I don't know if you have a TC that you've onboarded or added yet. Yep. And so, but the nice thing about that is if you want somebody to help you kind of manage some of the paperwork aspects, they have their own login. They can go in, they can stage the offers, get them rolling. But they're not technically touching any contracts. They're simply just filling out the form, and the form then is going to be sent to you as the first signer. And then you're going to be the one that reviews it, signs it. And then once you sign it, it goes to the client. But that $19 per month, that's for unlimited signings, unlimited, use. And so it allows you to use all the listing documents, all the buyer documents, everything that's in there. And it makes your team members and your speed and efficiency so much better. The cost savings alone, it's hard to calculate. But when you think about the dollar per hour that you're worth and the time investment that you have, it's hard to find a reason why $19 a month wouldn't make sense to increase efficiency. And I think that Jill can attest to it once she gets in there and starts using it even more. We've had people that have signed up that have literally they're putting 100 envelopes a month through the application. And it's because of the time savings that it makes, and also the efficiency for their clients and the user experience for their clients, and getting the offers for the listing agent. So we feel like 19 is a pretty good value, and makes your speed and efficiency so much better. And so love for you to try it. If you don't like it, we have a money back guarantee where you can onboard and sign up, and we'll do training. And if for whatever reason you're like, hey, this sucks, I'd rather go back to Authentic Sign and Transaction Desk, we'll refund you 100%. So
what I will tell you guys too is the most amazing part about this is, I used to meet with my buyers, and then I'd be like, all right, I'm gonna go out in the driveway, pull up my laptop, or go to Starbucks or Panera Bread or something, get it all in there. It would maybe I can fill out a contract probably 30-35 minutes in Authentic. But this is literally getting me down to 5 minutes. And it is just like, oh, I'm in the driveway, I can do it from my phone. That is like the crazy part, because we cannot do that with Authentic and Transaction Desk. Like you cannot do that from your phone. So literally how I think about this is I gave up Starbucks for 2 days, and I'm paying for this. And it's a no-brainer for me, just because, again, time is our most valuable asset that we have. So
Jill, technically, didn't you just pay for like 6 or 7 years of the app because
probably because I
won that offer? Being so organized.
Yeah. When you think about it from that instance, yeah, I mean, it's crazy. I was bragging to my husband, who's an electrician. He has no idea what any of this is, but I'm like, this is crazy software that it's huge time saver. Again, right now we're in spring season. Everybody's so busy. Even my listings that I've got coming up, doing those listing disclosures, I mean, they can literally click instead of me having to sit and fill it out with them, constantly. So it's just, if you're interested at all in this, please, get on there, sign up, get a tutorial. We can help walk you through this and save some time. Absolutely. Does anybody have any questions for these two? Jennifer asked if it was an app on your phone.
So yeah, go ahead,
Right.
Pat.
No, it's not an app in the App Store, but we've got the directions on there of saving it as a shortcut, which essentially will put it as an app on your phone so you can have it right on your desktop. If you don't know how for Android or Apple, you can create that shortcut, you give it a custom name with it, and then it'll pull up and go directly into your browser to the website immediately. So it functions just like an app, even though it is browser based.
Yeah, and you can use it on your iPad or tablet
Yep.
or whatever too. So it's effectively it's mobile responsive, so it's got the ability. It kind of shrinks down and does it looks a little bit different than on the desktop, but effectively it's kind of made for your phone.
Yeah.
I'm gonna. Oh, go ahead.
So, for like you said, Jill, once you sign up, there's a tutorial you can go through just to practice before you start sending.
Yeah. So I don't know what's your name.
Oh, Jihan.
Jihan. So what I would do is I would actually create, the first thing I would do is I would sign up and I would create myself as a buyer, like a user, and I would send myself the offer to experience what it feels like as the buyer. And then I would also find either an RG listing and you can, or NRG listing, and you can change the listing agent's name to your email address and your name. And then you can experience what it's like to get that listing document sent to you. And so it gives you the ability to fully experience the app as if you're the buyer and as if you're the listing agent, and it'll copy you, it'll do the whole thing. But you can write offers and practice on yourself. And so that's what I would do first. But Pat, why don't you go to the help section and just show them what the help section looks like inside the app? Because we have a very robust help section that basically walks you through the full on. If you could go to the actual like website.
Yeah. Sorry.
So this is this is effectively the help section in the app that allows you to kind of go through step by step the getting started guide, the user setup and permissions, writing contracts. It's all built out right in here within the app, and so it's a very, very robust kind of guide for you to go through and get your profile set up. I mean, step by step. If you spend, and these videos aren't super long. If you spend a half hour clicking through this help section and then did a couple of practices, you would be off to the races with writing offers and doing listing contracts with ease using Click.
Yeah. So when you sign up, we'll actually send you a welcome email that's going to have this information in there as well, along with information for doing live onboarding sessions as well.
Okay, thank you. That explains everything.
Good.
Cool.
The other thing that I am going to mention, because it was something that I had to do the other day, when we have tricky situations on a property that we're listing, kind of like what we had said, the appraisal clause, or there's some sort of like tricky situation in there, they have an amazing library clause that you can go in, and Pat, I'm sure you can pull that up. It takes all of the guessing out of it. And also from the compliance standpoint at NRG, all of these are coming across in that compliant fashion. It's not going to let you forget a form. It's not going to, do it. So let's just say that clause library. Like if I don't know something, let's say offer deadline, because I use that one quite a bit with this. You can basically just put it in there, change the time and the date, and it's there for you. It's really slick and not have to, overthink things and worry about like, oh, did I put that in there right?
Pat, why don't you go to the help section and show them where all those exist too? Just click on help. Go into there.
Are you talking here?
Yep. Just
Yeah.
click on collections and show them. I think it's on what page is it on? The additional tools.
Yep.
In there, and then no. Hold on 1 second.
Did I move it?
You might have moved it. I don't know. Click on that once.
There it is.
There we go. So there's a clause library. So this in the help section, if you wanted to read every one of the clauses that exist in Click, this is what they all say, and you can go through each one of them and look at them and what they say before you're in there clicking around, but effectively we've created this clause library so that people can go in and, understand what all those clauses are and what they say and whatnot, where they can read them all without having to do it within the app. So.
You're on mute, Jill.
Jill, I think you're on mute still.
There, I always forget to do that. I am gonna say this, and I don't know if she's available. Janelle Lake was the one who actually got me to take a look at the software because she had done a demo on it. And she was like, hey, do you know anything about this? And I was like, no. But the really cool part is that I actually then signed up for a demo. Pat went through it with me and I was like, yeah, this is a no-brainer. So I know Janelle had said that she was going to get on board with this again because she's just so busy. Janelle, do you have anything to say about your tutorial that you went through with Pat?
Yeah, it was actually really basic, and the timing, and I have to apologize to you, Pat and Kirby, but at the timing that I was introduced to it, I just had other things outside of work going on, so I was unable to dedicate, and that's kind of why I passed it over to Jill, because I know she and Randy are the brains behind the bunch here. But now, after Jill's approval and her saying absolutely it's a go, I mean, look forward to hearing from me, because now I will have more time to be able to switch over, use this, and that, the $19.90 or the $20 a month. I mean, I can't even express how cheap that is, really. So
it's one of those
when you
things
look
where,
at
for $20 a month, the time savings. I mean, if you value yourself at anything over $20 an hour, and you don't save an hour of your life using Click, and not to mention the amount of stress that Click saves you, I will personally cut you a check back for the it's guaranteed to save you at least an hour a month, and you should be valuing your time if you're an agent at much more than $20 an hour. And so my gut says that the $20 that it'll save you and the stress that it'll save you, guaranteed. I mean, I can't imagine it not doing that for you once you get in there and start using it and learn it at a high level. And Jill's already experiencing it, and she's a testament to the power of Click already. And I would just it'd be hard to say that you won't get value out of this application if you take the risk. And like I said, 100% money back guarantee. So if you don't like it, you hate it for whatever reason, just tell Pat, shoot us a note in the support. We'll shut your account off, and we'll get your money back, and you never have to consider using it again. But I know that if you invest the time to learn it, you will deeply appreciate what Click has to offer.
They have amazing YouTube videos as well, you guys. So that's for a lot of, I always say that if you don't know something, get on YouTube and you'll find it. And so they do have a great videos in there of that as well. My last thing that I'm gonna leave on, Kirby and Pat are in the real estate industry. Sometimes people build things where they're not in the industry, or they don't know, and they don't know the needs of what's going on. These guys do know that. So that's, again, a positive to me, because they're boots on the ground, and they're trying to make something more efficient for us as agents. The one question that I got kind of on an offside text message for you guys is, with all of the NAR stuff coming up, obviously forms are going to be changing things. I'm assuming you guys are going to be able to update all of that once.
Yeah, and compared to, we've had people say, it takes, brokers specifically say it takes weeks to get things updated from Lone Wolf or whatever the other one is that updates Transaction Desk. We're extremely fast on getting forms updated. And so forms will be updated. And the other thing, Pat, if you want to click on create once and just show them, one of the requirements for agents now that I think is extremely important is the ability to be able to put the buyer broker agreement in front of clients very quickly. And Click, it's so fast. And if you have if NRG is going to roll out a one-time showing agreement, we'll get NRG's one-time showing agreement put into Click, and it'll make it extremely fast for you guys to get those showing agreements signed or your buyer representation agreement signed before you go and show houses, which, based on my understanding of the lawsuit, is what's going to be required going forward. Before you actually show homes, you have to get these documents signed. And Click makes it that much easier for you guys to be able to do that and do it from your phone and on the fly before you actually show the house. So again, another reason why Click would be extremely important, especially as we're coming up in this lawsuit, changing the industry a little bit. So just another plug for why Click is going to help you guys save time and be more efficient out there in the field.
Yeah, so we're, along that lines, we're keeping a close eye and a close pulse on the settlement and what's happening. And we're just waiting for some guidance as far as what those forms are and any other contract changes, because obviously we're not going to be the legal ones to make that. And nobody knows for sure what the final settlement's going to be. But yeah, we're definitely keeping a very close eye on that and making any adjustments that we can as they change.
Yeah. So Yesenia said, can you send a counter offer through? And
Yep.
I think if you just want to short click out how to do that, Pat. So.
Yep. So the counter offer addendum, I would grab the purchase agreement. I'm representing the buyer, select my counter offer, and then it's going to have rest of my basic info, and I can put in what are the terms that I'm changing. If I'm changing other, it's going to bring up a box where I can write in whatever I want for that part. And then it's got access to that same clause library if I need to use any of those as well. So yeah, I mean, I think there shouldn't be any documents that you're doing. I mean, unless we don't do commercial right now, we don't do residential leasing currently. Short of that, I think we have virtually everyone built in. If you have a scenario that you find where we're missing a form, we've got the help section here and the chat feature. Send us a message with what we're missing, and we'll follow up to see any follow-up questions that we have as far as getting it in there, and we will get it added. Again, I think for the most part, we've got all of the basics in there, or all of the forms in and included. So Wisconsin forms, it does not currently work for Wisconsin forms. We are working on that. We're on pace for hopefully the end of June to have that completed, but that is one of our top priorities right now, is getting Wisconsin forms in here.
That sounds fun, Pat, because their forms are so different.
And they are,
Go ahead.
yeah, as I say, no, Kirby, you actually have looked at them even closer than I have.
Yeah, once Wisconsin gets in, the whole crossing out thing that will be that'll be preset based on the kind of different decision logic that we build into the forms. And so what'll be nice is the crossing out thing will completely go away, and it'll make filling out Wisconsin forms. If anybody who's licensed in Wisconsin, putting together a real estate contract in Wisconsin, Minnesota is kind of a bear. We've made it a lot easier. Wisconsin is worse, in my opinion. And I think that making Wisconsin easier is definitely on the roadmap within the next 60 days for Click contracts to execute. And so that'll be a really nice feature that we'll add to Click. And then once we're done with Wisconsin, just so you know, if you have friends in Florida or Texas, we're going there next to be putting Click contracts to work for agents in Florida and Texas. So that's kind of the game plan for Click. We appreciate, Joe, we appreciate you so much having us on. Thank you for the time. And if and Mike, you asked, are you a local company? Yeah, we're based in Plymouth, and we our office is in Medicine Lake. Technically, it's a little suburb on the east side of Plymouth, but yeah, we're right in Plymouth, and I live in Plymouth. Pat lives in Plymouth. We're all right here in Minnesota. So.
I want to thank you guys for taking time today to walk through this with us. If you guys have any questions, just give it a try, see how it is. You can reach out to any of us and we will definitely help you. The one thing that we're probably going to work on is maybe, having like a in-person, because these guys are right here, having something with an energy event and getting them in person and just kind of walking through and doing more of this. But honestly, just try it, get in there, play with it, and you will be blown away by just your first interaction with it. It's a game changer. So that's why we had to share it. So I will put this out on the Energy Connect Facebook page. We'll get it sent out to everybody. Again, this is played back. So if you have any questions and you're watching it as a playback, please address those to me and I will get them to Pat and Kirby and we'll go from there. But otherwise, I want to say thank you guys again for your time. I'm sure there's going to be more questions. We don't, Mike, have an event to go over anything else right now, but I will bring that up with Randy. And we'll see if we can get something scheduled. So, all right, perfect.
Thanks,
Thank you
guys.
guys for your time. Go out, do something amazing, and we'll see you guys next Tuesday.
All right, thanks, Jill. See you.
Bye,
Thanks, guys.
guys.
Thank you.